Hello, this is a video tutorial for Unit 3, Activity 5. This is our last activity in Unit 3, and we will finish the Great Gatsby novel in this activity and have our culminating assignment, which will be our big assignment to end the unit. So to start with, our focus in this activity is theme. So we're looking at the messages and lessons that we can draw out of The Great Gatsby. And so you'll see in the content that the theme has been broken, that there are 6 themes that have been introduced to you. Many of these themes we've already talked about in chapter questions or in other activities. But if we take a quick look, you'll see money and materialism. So just about everybody in the novel is obsessed with money, as we've talked about from Activity 1. And those that don't have money are trying to get money, and those that have money are either trying to flaunt it over other people or trying to get more money, right? So that's a major sort of idea in the novel, this idea of this obsession with money and materialism. And I don't think F. Scott Fitzgerald, the author, has a very positive opinion about most of the characters and their obsession with money. In terms of society and class, this novel presents different parts of society and different classes. So you have the lower class and the poor in the Valley of the Ashes. You have the new money group in West Egg, and you have the old money group in East Egg. So we've already talked about that, and we did a little assignment related to that in Activity 4. But this is a little review here of the different societies and classes that are presented in the novel. We also have the American Dream, which is again something we looked at in the last activity as well. But the American Dream, or we could say Canadian Dream, that term is also used, is this idea that if you work hard and you are determined and don't give up, that anyone can succeed in life in America and Canada and North America. And that is an idea that is strongly presented in the background of this novel. And so you have a guy like Jay Gatsby, who seems to be the epitome of the American dream. But is he really? Did he go about earning his money in the proper way? Is that really what the American dream is all about? To do anything possible, whether it's legal or not, whether it hurts other people or not, just to do anything possible to make money and succeed? Is that what the American dream is about? And then you have other people in the novel, like the Wilsons, who really want to improve their lives but are having a really difficult time doing it. So I think, in my view, the American dream seems to be presented as a falsehood or as a myth in this novel. But again, I'm curious to know your opinion. In terms of love, desire, and relationships, all the major characters in this story have some sort of love affair or some sort of connection with another character, and almost all of the relationships end badly. So I'm curious to know, what is Fitzgerald's message on love? Is he presenting love in a purely negative light here, or is there anything positive we can draw on the relationships from the novel? Ethics. So this novel is full of bad behavior. So you've got lying and cheating and physical abuse and crime and murder, right? And so this novel seems to be presenting this idea that society can be very immoral or maybe amoral, where people don't seem to care about others. They seem to make very selfish decisions and are willing to cheat and lie and abuse others to get what they want. So again, you could argue that it's a very cynical look at society. And lastly, our 6th theme here is identity. So do people really change, or is our past always with us? So you have James Gatz and Jay Gatsby, who are two different identities but are the same person. And so it's very interesting when we look at Jay Gatsby and what is his real identity, because he presents one picture of himself to the world and he creates kind of a public identity for himself. But in reality, we could argue that he really is someone very different. So this is just a quick run through of some of the themes in the novel. You will have to answer some questions based on a couple of these themes in the assignment portion of this activity. But before we get to the assignment, remember to read chapter 8 and 9, which are the last two chapters of the book, and to answer your chapter questions, which again will give you a good understanding of whether you understood the novel, or whether you understood chapters 8 and 9, and whether you understood the ending of the novel or not. Okay. If we move on to the assignment, so the assignment in Activity 5 is what we're calling our culminating assignment. In the past, what I have done when we get to the ending of the novel unit is students come into class and they write a novel test. That unfortunately is not possible this semester. So what we're doing instead is we're doing a culminating assignment. And so what I've done is I've created 4 fairly big questions that I'm going to ask you to answer. And hopefully in answering these questions, you're going to demonstrate an understanding of the novel's themes, characters, and events. So if we first look at the instructions here, it says, after you finish reading the novel, answer the 4 questions in the Great Gatsby Culminating Assignment to demonstrate your understanding of the novel's themes, characters, and events. Right? Write your answers in complete sentences. I would say that you would probably need at least 8 sentences to answer each of the questions. So, question number 1, probably going to require at least 8 to 10 sentences. And again, question number 2, probably at least 8 to 10 sentences. If you're only writing 4 or 5 sentences in your answer, you're probably not including enough supporting detail, and you're probably not including enough explanation. Okay? It's very important that you use your own words and opinions when answering the questions. Do not include words or opinions from websites or from sources outside of the course. The only source you need, and the only time you should use words that are not your own in your answers, would be if you're including quotations from the novel. And I don't think you'll need a lot of quotations from the novel in your answers to these questions. You can use them, but you can also take examples and details from the novel and put it into your own words as well, too. Okay. If you have any questions, certainly contact me, but this is what we call a culminating assignment. It's our end of the unit assignment, and it's worth big marks here, so it's kind of replacing a test. So I can't look at your answers ahead of time and provide feedback. So some of you have gotten into the habit, and it's a good habit, I think, of sending me your work before you submit it to the Dropbox, and I take a quick look and give you feedback, and then you can kind of improve upon it before you submit it. Unfortunately, I can't do that with this assignment. Okay? So you can, certainly you can still ask questions. You can download the assignment right here, and this is what it looks like. So you've got the 4 questions, and you've got a repeat of the instructions. So if you want a Microsoft Word version, it's right here. But the questions are also listed right below here on the website. So if we take a quick look, it says question number 1, Nick Carraway and ethics. So ethics was one of our major themes in the content. And so Nick is sometimes referred to as the only good or moral character in the novel. There's some people that say that kind of like Nick and say, well, he's the only good guy in the novel. He himself says that he is one of the few honest people that he has ever known. He says that at the ending of chapter 3. You have other people, though, that argue that Nick is a hypocrite and that he's just as immoral and just as bad a person as everybody else in the novel. And so my question to you is, in your personal opinion, is Nick a good person? I'd like you to give me 3 reasons why or why not, and then I'd like you to include specific examples from the novel to support your opinion. Okay? Question number 2 is Jay Gatsby and identity. So identity was another theme that we discussed in the content. So it says, throughout the novel, the main character's true identity seems to be a mystery. We are given a lot of information about his life, but it is often hard to determine whether the information is true or false. So again, I want to know your personal opinion. Who is the real Jay Gatsby? I'd like you to identify 3 personality traits which you feel accurately describe who Jay Gatsby really is. So he presents a lot of different sort of aspects of himself to society, and he tells Nick a lot of things about himself, and we hear a lot of things about him through other characters, and it's kind of hard to tell what's true and false. And so I'm curious to know, now that you've finished the novel, what do you think really makes Jay Gatsby tick? See if you can identify 3 personality traits and fully describe who Jay Gatsby really is. As always, I'd like you to include 3 specific examples from the novel to support your points. Question number 3, minor character, major impact. So we have spent pretty much the whole novel talking about 8 characters, right? And so those 8 characters are Nick, Jay, Daisy, Tom, Jordan, Myrtle, George, and Meyer, right? So you even did a character assignment in Activity 3 where you had to break down each of their characters. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to choose another character in the novel, a minor character. And what I'd like you to do is to describe that character's personality, and then this for me is the most important point. Explain how that character impacted the events in the novel or impacted the lives of the main characters. So there are a handful of characters you could choose. Some that sort of pop into my mind are Owl Eyes, Michaelis, Dan Cody. So there's a number of characters that are not one of our main characters that still, even some of them don't even really appear in the book. They only appear as flashbacks and things like that. But I'm asking you to choose one minor character and then describe who they are, what's their personality, and then again, the important bit here, how do they impact the story, and how do they impact the events of the novel or impact one of the main characters. I think that a number of minor characters in the story have a major impact on, say, Jay Gatsby's life, or say, on the lives of Daisy and Tom, right? And so focus on a minor character. Okay, I'm curious to see who students choose. As always, include specific details from the novel to support your points. And then my last question here, question number 4, The Great Gatsby ending. So of course we've just finished the novel in this activity, so I want to know your opinion. Fully explain your opinion on the ending of The Great Gatsby. Was the ending satisfying to you? Was Gatsby's death and funeral the right way to end the novel? Were there unresolved issues? So if you liked the ending, explain why. If you didn't like the ending, explain why. So whichever your opinion is fine. Just make sure you fully explain it. And then give me at least 3 specific examples from chapter 8 or 9 to fully support your opinion. Right? So again, I'm curious to know, we've gotten to the ending of the book here. What did you think of the way it ended? There is no right or wrong opinion, but the 10 marks here, the marks are going to come with how did you explain yourself, how did you explain your opinion, and did you back it up with examples? Okay. So that's our culminating activity. That'll end the Great Gatsby unit for us. If you do have any questions about the novel or about this assignment, please let me know.